Hello and welcome. So today we are going to discuss Isis from the Egyptian mythology. One of the best known goddesses in the Egyptian pantheon, Isis was the granddaughter of Ra, wife of Osiris and mother of Horus. While she was best known as a powerful sorceress and healer, she was also a fiercely protective mother and loyal wife. Her acts of healing and compassion were renowned throughout the land. Those who threatened her loved ones, however, did so at their own peril. The etymology of Isis. The etymology of the Egyptian gods' names have largely been lost to time and translation. Nevertheless, some information relating to Isis' etymology has been discovered. Isis was generally depicted wearing a crown resembling the hieroglyph for throne. Her name, as written in ancient Egyptian, incorporated this glyph as well. Thus, Isis' name was commonly understood to mean throne goddess. Next, we are going to discuss Isis' attributes. Isis was a goddess of contradictions. While she could be bloodthirsty and ruthless, she was also compassionate and loyal. She was known for her acts of healing, but her grief could also cause the death of innocents. Isis happily extorted her grandfather Ra so that her unborn son Horus could lay claim to the throne. Later, when Horus was engaged in a competition with his uncle Set, Isis cheated on her son's behalf. On yet another occasion, she released a captured Set out of familial obligation. She was an immensely powerful sorceress known for her wondrous healing spells. Isis was usually depicted in human form and could sometimes be seen carrying a sistrum, which is an ancient percussion instrument. The myths and imagery surrounding Isis and another goddess, Hathor, were sometimes conflated. Isis would, at times, bear the cow horns and solar disk more commonly associated with Hathor. So next, we are going to discuss the family of Isis. So, Isis was the fourth child born to the gods Nut and Geb. Her older siblings included Osiris, Horus the Elder, and Set. She also had a younger sister named Nephthys. Isis conceived her son Horus the younger, with her deceased brother and husband Osiris. Isis's relationship with Horus was somewhat peculiar. The two began their relationship in the womb and thus were born as husband and wife. She raised Anubis, the bastard child of Osiris and Nephthys, as her own after his mother abandoned him. So the mythology of Isis. Isis was an extremely complex goddess, which may explain the longevity of her cult. While other Egyptian gods were replaced or discarded, Isis continued to be worshipped long into the Greek and Roman periods. For a time, the prevailing, though in Greco-Roman culture, was that Isis had created the world and that all of the other gods were simply alternative names for Isis. Isis' cult remains active to this day, as the goddess has become part of modern paganism. So, in the Egyptian mythology, knowing someone's name was thought to give you power over them. Accordingly, true names were closely guarded secrets. Ra's true name was immensely powerful, as whomever had access to it could control the sun god and all his might. Isis had begun plotting her son's ascent to the throne well before he was born. Such a plot required great cunning and ingenuity, for though Isis was a sorceress of great power, even her magic could not harm the mighty Ra. For all his power, Ra did have several weaknesses. He was elderly and tended to drool. Isis collected some of his spittle and mixed it with clay, forming it into the shape of a cobra. Then, using her magic, she animated the cobra and set it along a path that Ra walked daily. True to form, Ra walked the path the next day, and the cobra struck. Unable to resist the cobra's venom, which he had been made from his own essence, Ra became racked with pain and fever. As he suffered, Isis approached him and offered to cure him, on the condition that he tell her his true name. Though he was now delirious with pain, Ra was no fool. He rattled off a list of names he was known by, but did not reveal his true name. Isis knew that she had not yet received his true name, and told him again she could only heal him if he gave her his true name. Ra's pain had intensified throughout this process, and he knew that he would have no peace until he was cured. In an effort to avoid giving her any power over him, Ra attempted to bargain with Isis. In his weakened state, however, he bargained poorly. Isis and Ra ultimately agreed that if Isis cured him, he would give her, as of yet unborn son, his eyes. Here meaning the sun and the moon, the sources of Ra's power. True to her word, Isis offered up an incantation to relieve Ra of his suffering. Break out, scorpions, leave Ra. Eye of Horus, leave the god. Flame of the mouth, I am the one who made you. I am the one who sent you. Come to the earth, powerful poison. See, the great God has given his name away. Ra shall live once the poison has died. This laid the foundation for unborn Horus to one day become king of the gods and a sun god in his own right. This was far in the future, however, and both Isis and Horus would face many trials before these events would come to pass. So, that is the mythology of Isis, the wife of Osiris. Thank you.